Hey, what's up everybody? So I figured I'd address a question that I've gotten asked quite a few times. Why the hell did you go back to a DRZ? You know, that's a really good question. I had a DRZ, if you don't know. I had a DRZ, a 2016 model. Had it pretty well modded out, like what I was going to do to it. Then I decided to sell it, and literally the next day I bought a 2017 FZ09, MT09, whatever country you're in. And I had that bike for, I don't know, it was 4 months maybe. I think I bought it in March, April, somewhere around there, and I sold it in September. And literally a week later went and bought this bike. So you're like, well, why the hell did you go back to a DRZ? Why didn't you get, you know, a 450 or whatever, a 500? Well, for one, trying to street legal a dirt bike in Wyoming is up in the air. Nobody could give me a straight answer if I could actually do that or not. I almost bought a WR450F with a Supermoto kit, and it was all street legal. It had all the street legal stuff on it, I should say. It wasn't street legal. It had everything on it to make it street legal. You know, the functioning high-low beam, turn signals, tail light, horn. Had a set of Supermoto wheels with it. For the price of what a regular WR costs you. They had it clearance because they were trying to get rid of it because nobody was interested in buying it for some reason. It was down in Colorado. Down in Colorado, it's very easy to street legal a bike. You don't even need to bring the goddamn bike to get it inspected. You just sign an affidavit saying it's got everything it needs, I believe, and that's it. So I called around. I called local legislation. I called state. I called, you know, the place in Cheyenne, which is, I think the capital is. I'm not sure even what the capital of Wyoming is. I called police officers. Police officers told me that from what they could find out, the dude was really nice to me, but from what he said he could find out, it's street legal as long as it has a headlight, tail light, and a horn. But in Wyoming, you need a mirror. I think that's it. But the head officials at the courthouses and stuff couldn't give me a straight answer. Now, people in Wyoming have street legal before, but that was years ago. From what I understood, Wyoming, if it says off-road use only on the title, it won't happen. So most KTMs don't say off-road use only, so you can actually probably street legal a KTM pretty easy. But I'm just not a fan of KTM. I like Japanese bikes. They're known to be reliable. They're cheap. You know, I got this bike for $6,800 out the door. That's tax and everything. You know, I was looking at a Husqvarna 501, and that's $12,000 before taxes and shit. And it's just like, I can't justify that extra power and stuff for that bike. Like, that bike's way more capable than I am off-road and shit, so I couldn't justify it. So that's my reasoning why I went back with a DRZ for the most part. It's street legal from the factory. I don't have to worry about messing with it. I couldn't justify spending 10 grand on a WR and then find out it wasn't I couldn't street legal it in Wyoming. And there I sit. And I know I could have sold it to somebody in probably South Dakota or something, but I would have lost my ass on it. And I just can't afford to do that. So that's why I bought a DRZ. It's the only bike on the market that's worth a damn, in my opinion. None of the 250s are worth a shit. I would buy a used WR 250R, like as a second bike, or like for my girlfriend, or just to ride back and forth to work. But as my primary bike, I wouldn't buy it. I rode one with a 290 kit in it, and it was horrible. It was slow, had no power to me. I thought it was kind of weird that the bike, with all that mods that he done to it, didn't have the power. Like, I figured it was going to have the power of a stock DRZ, but it didn't. It didn't feel like that to me. And I was revving the shit out of it on the test ride, and still, it was just like, man, this thing has no power. I can't buy this as my primary bike. So it just brought me back to a DRZ. I talked about a long time ago why I was getting rid of it and the shortcomings that it has. But when you compare it to what's on the market for the value, I just don't think there's a better bike than the DRZ. I really don't. Now, if you can find a secondhand, leftover, already street legal bike and you can grandfather it into Wyoming, then that'd be one thing. But I just didn't want to mess with that. You know how people ride supermotos. Look how I ride my fucking supermoto. So it just brought me back to the DRZ, and the real reason why I bought the FZ09, I was wanting to do more long distance riding. I was really wanting to jump on the bike, hit the road, take trips, go on longer rides, things like that. But just, I had that bike and I literally rode it to the Black Hills twice and said, this is enough. Like, it just bores me that bad out here. I cannot stand being on the open road. So most of my riding is messing around in the outskirts of town and shit like that. As you can see from my channel, I ride around in town a lot. I don't like to, but it's my only option, like after work and on weekends and stuff when I can't just load the bike up and go. And the bike sucked in town. The FZ09 was horrible in town. I mean, you do this and you're already doing 50 miles an hour, and most of the speed limit in this town is 25 to 35. So it's no fun. In town, it is no fun for me. So, I mean, that was another big reason why I wanted to go back to a DRZ. I figured, you know, if I'm not going to jump on the open road and ride, then why do I want a big, heavy bike that I'll never use the potential on, like, the twisty roads that I like to ride? So, you know, that was kind of the big reason why I got rid of it. It's just, this bike is just so much fun. And when I had the DRZ, the first one, I realized how much I like going fast and having a sport bike. I was missing that aspect, because this bike, you know, it's not a fast bike. It's fast for what it is, and that's it. I was missing wanting to go back to that speed. I was missing that adrenaline rush from speed. But then when I got the FZ09, I was just like, you know, it made me realize how much, having the FZ09, realize how much selling the DRZ was a mistake, because of how much fun I had on that bike. And I just wasn't really riding the FZ that much. I think I put like 3,000 miles on it, something like that. I don't even remember. But it just made me realize how much I love the DRZ and how simplistic and fun it can be. So again, that's why I went back to one. It's just, I've had so much freaking fun on the first one I had. I was like, I know I'm gonna have fun with this one. And I know I kind of lost my ass on selling my first one compared to what I put into it, and then having to buy this one and put the same stuff back into it. I pretty much did the same exact mods to this bike except for the exhaust. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same. Color options, I had a gold clutch and a red brake lever, but now it's just all black. I mean, that's the only difference. So, like I said, I get asked that question a lot. Why did I go back to a DRZ? And that's why. At the end of the day, I don't think there's a better dual sport on the market, value per dollar, than the DRZ400. And there's no better supermoto. There really isn't. You have two options for a freaking supermoto in the United States. Why Yamaha won't build the 250X again? Because that was a really big selling bike. I would probably buy one as a town bike to mess around in town and shit if they brought it back. But the used ones, people just ask stupid dollar amounts for them. I looked at a 2010 and he wants $6,000 for it. I'm like, dude, you're nuts. They're not worth that. I can buy a brand new WR and a set of supermoto wheels for probably maybe $7,500, brand new. So that's why I went back to a DRZ. The FZ09 was a great bike. I did a review about it and talked about it. I really like that bike. It is such a great value per dollar street bike. Like, I don't think there's a better street bike on the market for $9,000. I really don't. Brand new out the door. I don't think there's a better bike. And I got mine out the door for $8,750 out the door. I think, or 85. I can't remember. I didn't pay tax because it was in a different state. So if you're looking at that bike, it's a great bike, don't get me wrong. The 2017 and newer bikes, they fixed pretty much all the problems that the early generation had. So if that's a bike you want, definitely go for it. I highly recommend that bike. But for me, having it as my primary bike, I just couldn't do it. I just missed the DRZ too much. And now that I've got the DRZ back, you know, I bought this one. I know it's the right choice. I know it's the right bike for me. Like, trust me, I do miss hitting triple digits, no problem. Like, I used to have a GSXR 1000, but the aspect of everything that I can do with this bike, even with the street tires, it overweighs being able to go fast every once in a while. It really does. In the future, I do plan on getting me a sport bike again when I'm settle down in an area that I want to settle down in and have a garage. I do want to get me a GSXR again. I want to get me a 750. I've had a 600 and I've had a 1000. I think a 750 would suit me perfect. But you know, that's in the future, and you know, I don't even know if that'll even happen. But as of right now, I just think the DRZ is my best choice to be able to just load her up, go somewhere, spend the weekend, have a bunch of fun, cheaply, affordably. That's why I'm back on a DRZ. I love the DRZ. It still has its shortcomings, but with all of its shortcomings, I still overweight it and wanted to get another one because of how much fun I had on the first one that I had. So that's kind of why. Kind of drug that on a little bit longer than I wanted to. But if you're thinking about buying a DRZ and you're worried about it being outdated and shit, don't worry about it. Just freaking buy one, man. You'll have so much fun. But that's all I got. I want to thank all my subscribers, people that have been subscribing. I broke over 100. It's been a long, slow road, but I'm hoping to keep gaining that follower base. I'm still going to try to put out videos as much as I can. I really plan on getting over to the hills this summer and doing some riding. But if you haven't liked and subscribed, please feel free to do that. If not, that's your choice. I'm not going to sit here and preach about it. If you've watched my other videos, you know how I am on that shit. You know how YouTube works. I don't have to ask you how to do it all the time. But thanks for watching, everybody, and till next time.